Good day everyone, my name is Drunken Leprechaun. I am a warbird instructor from Take Flight, and today I'll be running through the basics of operating the transmitter and the receiver that you can see right behind me here within the Mosquito, going over the very basics of it. I am not an expert on this airframe. I will be skipping over some items or information during the video. For more detailed information, please consider joining our Discord and participating in one of our classes. I'll be doing my best to run through the basics of operating this transmitter and receiver, just the very basics, just a very high-level overview within the next 30 minutes or hour or so. I am using a large resolution monitor and recording on a lower resolution. I will be doing my best to explain everything verbally what I am doing throughout the video. So if I happen to open up the options menu and you can't read the text, please do not be alarmed. I will try to explain everything verbally what I am doing on the screen. I am using a TrackIR Pro system, so if you see on the screen any random movements as such, please disregard. I'm simply just moving my head around. So without further ado, let's get started. So I already started up the Mosquito. I set up some things already. So first things first, what we need to do in regards to operating the transmitter and receiver from the Navigator seat, we first need to swap over to the Navigator seat by using the 2 key on our keyboard. Once we hit the 2 key on our keyboard, we have swap seats here. First thing we need to do while we're in this seat is look off to our right hand side here. There are 2 switches that we need to turn on, a low and high voltage master switch that we need to turn on. It's located on our right hand side right by the transmitter. You're just going to left click the low voltage to the on position and then left click the high voltage switch to the on position as well. Again, they're quite hidden right behind this bronze valve, just on this little black box right here. 2 switches you need to swap on. Once we done that, we can look behind us to our left, and it's quite finicky sometimes. What you're going to try to do is put your mouse over to the top, in this instance, the top left of the seat, or to the top right that you're looking at here, until the mouse becomes a solid cross as so. You get the armored backplate headset latch. You're going to left click it to drop down the back seat to gain access to the transmitter and the receiver. Okay, so this is going to be a bit difficult here for me. Just let me reset my TrackIR Pro system as I'm moving my head. Alright, for the transmitter, it's quite simple actually. I know there's a lot of things going on over here, but it's really quite simple once you get the use of it. A lot of the things are not used, such as these inducers and condensers aren't really used in the game and within DCS. To operate the transmitter, you simply just right click it. You do not have to let it warm up or anything in DCS. You can just simply right click it all the way to RT, receive and transmit. Standby is essentially, as it's called, standby. It's warming up the device. The tune section here is where you would place the transmitter if you need to swap channels or manually adjust to a particular frequency. The continuous wave function, this is mainly used for Morse code if you want to use Morse code. So you select the channel and whatnot, you put it on this section, a continuous wave function. And then off to our front here to our right hand side on our right hand seat, there's this black box. On top of it there's a push button that will allow you to speak or transmit Morse code based on your presses as such. I'm sure you could hear the beeps when I've done that. So to adjust channels, right here, this placard will update based on the preset configurations that the server has done for you. To swap between, you can see that we have 3 separate bands here, clearly indicated in a nice color code fashion. We have towards the bottom here, sorry, just playing with the TrackIR Pro system, trying to get a good angle for you. You have the bands indicated here in frequency ranges for you. You simply swap between the bands by clicking this lever here, up and down to which band you want to be in. So say we are in the blue band here from 100 to 55. Say we want to we want to utilize preset A. To utilize preset A, we go over here to our left hand side. This is sort of what's called the master oscillator switch. We just simply rotate until the arrow on this knob gets to the A for our preset. And then this next part can be finicky sometimes. What you do next is simply rotate this knob, the tuning capacitor, until it clicks, and it should lock into the A function. For some reason I can't really hear the clicking. But it should lock in right by the 9255. Alright, so I think we're good there. It's kind of stopped on me. Yep, it's locked in. I'm trying to go back and forth. It is now locked. I'm trying to rotate it left and right, and it's not moving. So that's on the preset channel. If you want to get off this channel, all you have to do is simply rotate this back to free. And now, yep, you should be able to rotate it freely now. If you don't want to use any of these presets and you want to tune into a frequency within this band, all you simply need to do is make sure this oscillator is on free, and then you can rotate this freely to tune in to the frequency of your choosing. And it's same across all bands. And that's how you operate the transmitter. You set it to tune it to the station you wish, and just flop it over to RT. And you can now use your hotkey for transmit for talking over that radio. Next up, we can talk about the receiver. Sorry, track IR, bad seating here. This should be in the normal position. This is the aerial type selector. You leave this in normal for just simply receiving. We'll talk about directional fighting in a second. Everything's pretty much labeled here for you. For receiving, what you're going to be using mainly is this volume knob here, and then your band indicator for which frequency band you want to receive on, and then your frequency adjusters for your tenths and ones. And this remains on the Omni selector for the time being. You can swap it over to AVC or balance if you wish, but mainly you just leave it here on all around Omni setting right here. Right here, this is called the Magic Eye. This determines the strength of the signal that you're receiving. The more solid green, how this comes more centered, is the stronger the source. So if I rotate this a little bit, find a okay. For some reason, this wasn't really moving on me for the most part. I had a do a select. You can see it move. Change strength. You get that off. You heard that Morse code. That is just the station indicator. Drop the volume. That's just the station code. And we'll talk about that right now, actually. regards to trying to tune into the right station, every station sort of gives off a Morse code to indicate its frequency, its station that you're connected to. So say for instance, because we're going to do some directional finding. Say for instance, I want to tune into Katasi. Let's see if I can reach Katasi from here. I'm going to do directional finding. We'll cover directional finding right now. Katasi, say I want to fly to Katasi using the radio navigation of this receiver. I have a frequency here of 477. I would simply tune to 477 and wait until I hear the Morse code of TI. I'm opening up my e-board here, right shift K. There's a Morse code. I should have one linked in the Discord. If not, you can find any kind of Morse code sheet online, download it, create it into an e-board. I won't be covering that. This is just, again, a very basic high-level overview, trying to go through all the basics really quickly. So TI, we just simply go to the T, which is a long dash, and an I, which is two short dashes. So to tune into Katasi, we can swap this over to directional finding. Increase the volume. Let me explain the things I'm going to do before I increase the volume so you can hear me. It was on 477 kilohertz. So we find the band where 477 would be K kilohertz. It should be the yellow band here, 477, if I'm reading that correctly. So we're going to swap this over to the yellow band, this master selector, over to the yellow band. So now we're changing frequencies on the yellow band. We're going to rotate this until we get to close to 470. You can see the magic eye changing. 410, 420, 430, 440, 450. So we have 460. 470. Alright, now I'm going to increase the volume a bit so we can hear the Morse code. I'm going to move this further down. Four 60, 470. And I think that might be it already. Let's see if we can hear it again. One long and two shorts, so I think that's Katasi. Yep, I'm gonna say that's Katasi. That's a T, long, and an I, two dots. So we're already on directional finding. The volume's increased. So I'm since I know I'm tuned into Katasi, I'm gonna decrease that volume so you can hear me and that doesn't become annoying. Next up, what we're going to do in regards to directional finding. So what we have here for directional finding, if we look forward in our seat here, we have a visual reference of left and right. We're going to make some changes to settings on that receiver. These two lines here are going to start coming up, and we're going to make some adjustments on that receiver to line up these lines to be in the middle and that they're crossing each other right at the middle. And we're going to sort of sync up our receiver to that frequency so as accurately as possible. And once we have our settings correctly, we swap it over to visualization. The knot needle should move or point into the direction of where the frequency is coming from, and that's how we're going to sort of use visual navigation with the radio using the receiver. So to do that, we're already in directional finding on our master. We're tuned into the right station that we believe that we're on. So what we're going to do next is swap this over to balance. We use the balance as to set the settings. As mentioned, we want to line up those needles so they intersect each other in the middle there. We do that by swapping this over to balance. We see that the needles are pretty far off. They're not in sync. So we got to sync up those needles to do that. We come over here to the meter balance, and I apologize, using the track IR system, kind of finicky looking back here. To do that, we use this meter amplitude and meter balance. The meter amplitude should adjust, whether it's further or shorter, and we kind of want to line them up in the middle. So we're going to bring them a little bit further back. That looks good for the most part. Now we want to bring the needles to the left as they're off-centered. We come over to the meter balance. I think it goes counterclockwise. Should be the same. Yep, counterclockwise. It should be a little bit more counterclockwise. Still a little bit more counterclockwise. That looks good enough to me. Yep. So now we're properly tuned in into the that Kotasi radio station. So now what we do next is just simply swap this over to visual, and now we're in a radio, like a navigation mode. You can see now that they are pointing slightly to the left. What we can do now as well is this meter deflector here. Right now it's in the low mode, which is low sensitivity. I like to operate in high sensitivity. I tend to find it gives us a more accurate reading of of how far left. You can see it moved a little bit more further left, and that should be, relatively in line of what we're looking at here. I'm looking forward straight, a little bit to the left. That should be heading to Kotasi. So I'm pretty sure, 90 to 95% surety, that is we are synced up to Kotasi. And that's how you use the receiver for directional finding. And I know I didn't quite touch upon per se. I'm in a single player server, but it's just like the transceiver. The receiver works the same way. Just set this to normal and just tune in to the band, and then set it to the frequency you wish to hear on. This right here is the master on switch. By default, it should be in the on position. If it's not, just put it in the on. That's sort of like the detonator too. There's a detonator switch. And that's that in regards to how to use the transceiver really quickly, the basics overviews of it, and how to use the receiver really quickly, the very basics of it, and how to use directional finding. Don't worry about this guy, the Oriole directional finder. All cases, you're just going to use the visual indicator. That is not very, it's very basic, it's very simple to use, but I'm not going to cover it in this course. This simple overview of basic usage. So I'm going to, since we covered that, there's actually one other thing I want to cover. I'm just going to swap this off. There's one other thing I want to cover, overview-wise, very quickly, is the beam approach system. With the Mosquito, you actually do have sort of an early implementation of ILS. It's called the beam approach method. There are essentially two stations on every airfield that has an ILS system right now on the map. So Tbilisi does have an ILS in both directions. The ILS for 13 right is 110.30. We can click on that. Yep, ILS is 110.30. The beam approach system has to be set up in the game settings prior to start. If it has not been set up, you cannot enter it or adjust it in flight. So everything has to be set up prior to make the beam approach system work. Right now I have all the Mosquitoes on this single player mission set up to use runway 13 right. So essentially there's a left station somewhere on the left hand side of this runway here with the ILS system, and then there's a right station somewhere on the right hand side of this runway here, giving out Morse code signals, a DIT, a short dash on the right station, and then a long dash on the left station. So how the system works is quite simple. If I am coming in for a landing, poor weather conditions, I need assistance, turn on my beam approach system. If I'm hearing short dots, dot, 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 I'm off to the left of the runway and I need to go right. If I'm hearing dash, 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 I'm off to the right of the runway and I need to go left. And essentially what I'm trying to do is get get center until I hear the dots and the dash bleed in with each other, and it's a single tone ding, all the way through. And that's sort of the first implementation of ILS. And I can show you that right now. What you also want to do, or can do in regards to helping you land in, is set your compass, turn on your repeater compass by turning on the compass and the inverter battery switch to get the repeater to pop up. It should give you a relative magnetic heading. It's not completely accurate, but here is a course correction knob to sync up with the runway and make sure you're also flying in the same direction of, say, 124. I believe I already did the calculation. F10 map should actually be about like 124 per se. Yeah, 124. I'm not going to take off, but I'm going to turn on the system. You can hear it right now. I'm going to turn on this. To turn on the beam approach, it's going to be on the left hand side. This is the last switch here. Beam approach 81271 receiver. I'm going to turn it on and you're going to start hearing some dots. As you can hear, you get some annoying dots coming across. That's coming from the right station, as mentioned. That means we have to go right. And then if we were on the other side, we hear some longer tones. And essentially, you're just trying to get them in sync with each other until you hear a solid tone, and then your center line with the runway, with the ILS system. Alright, and I think that covers everything that I wanted to sort of speak upon. Again, we'll actually, within the course, talk about more. We actually do some practicals and things of that nature. But please do join our Discord. There's some relevant information, some collective repositories of data. And please think about participating in one of our classes if it's not the Warbirds. Another class, we have excellent instructors and mentors, a great channel. Ask any questions. People are more than happy to provide you answers and help you get you on your way. Again, this is a very basic high-level overview. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you for watching.